Money. That's probably what you think about when you hear generosity. But generosity that multiplies is deeper than that. Jesus said, generosity multiplies. Good morning and welcome to 755 Live. For about 5 minutes, you'll hear all about easy to remember soundbite versions of what Jesus said. And the point is to help you experience life to the fullest, the Jesus way. Today's Jesus said comes from Luke 6, verse 38, and we're going to be reading from the NET translation today, where Jesus said, "Give, and it will be given to you, a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. For the measure you use will be the measure you receive." I want to just kind of let that sink in for a minute. Jesus is saying to give, to be generous. And if you're generous, if you give, it will be given to you. And it will be given back to you in the same measure as you use. Okay, so let's look at a little bit of context here. We're going to jump up a few verses here in Luke 6. Verse 34, Jesus said, "And if you lend to those from whom you hope to be repaid, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners, so that they may be repaid in full. But love your enemies, and do good, and lend, expecting nothing back. Then your reward will be great, and you will be sons of the Most High, because he is kind to ungrateful and evil people." Verse 36, "Be merciful, just as your Father is merciful. Do not judge, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven." So it's in that context that Jesus then says, "Give, and it shall be given to you." And many times we take that one verse, verse 38, and we make this generosity thing all about money. When we talk about giving, it's mostly about currency, about money. But Jesus is making the point here that it's all about the heart. And these other things that he mentions about lending to others, expecting nothing in return, being kind to your enemies and loving them, and that's the context where then he says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you." Generosity multiplies, but it's not all about money. It is about heart. And the measure that we use and the depth of our love and mercy and kindness and compassion, that's what comes back to us. Jesus said it in Matthew 5, verse 23 and 24. He said, "So then, if you bring your gift to the altar and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there in front of the altar. First, go and be reconciled to your brother. Then come and present your gift." It's about heart. You can't give your way into the kingdom. But when you are in the kingdom, then what is inside multiplies. It's the same principle that goes all the way back to creation, kind after kind. What you plant multiplies. What you sow is what you reap. And God can't fill a closed hand. You can't fill a container with a lid on it. Our generosity must start from the heart. Paul reminds us of this in Galatians 6, verse 7, where he says that don't be deceived. God will not be made a fool, for a person will reap what he sows. Sowing is an action. Generosity is an action. The first step of that action is to give, because generosity multiplies. But it's not just money. It's grace, mercy, forgiveness. It's all about love. That's why we use the hashtag love first. And it multiplies. Whatever you sow multiplies. But Jesus said, "Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and don't do what I tell you?" We need to be generous, as Jesus said, to be generous. It's about heart, not just about money. And generosity multiplies. So how can you put that into action today? How can you change what you're sowing today and see generosity multiply? Now, thank you so much for listening. If this is meaningful to you, it really does mean a lot. If you like it, if you share it, if you comment, I really appreciate you. I hope that you have an amazing day, and I hope this time together has helped you live life to the fullest, the Jesus way. And remember, follow Jesus today. Love first.